You're welcome back to the AM show. We've just had an interesting conversation. Well, Benjamin just had an interesting conversation on Ghana's economy. Well, today now we're discussing Ghana's education, and we're engaging the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund. How is this fund helping to make Ghana's educational system better? Because it's in charge of vital infrastructure needed to augment the sector. And my guest for today is Dr. Richard Ampofo-Boadu, who's the GET Fund administrator, and he is here to tell the GET Fund story. Doc, good morning, and thank you so much for your time.
Good morning.
Are you okay? You all right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now let's talk about GET Fund. I mean, let's go back to 2001, and we talk about GET Fund and how it operates.
The historical background of GET Fund is that in 2000, the then government under the NDC, that is Jerry Rawlings, President Jerry Rawlings, passed the GET Fund Act, but it was in 2001 that it was operationalized by the then Kufuor government. So it was in August that GET Fund started its operation. So if you look at it, if it were a child that was born, GET Fund will be it has passed the childhood stage into the adult stage.
So GET Fund is like what, 21 years?
20, from 2001, 20.
Yeah,
20.
My math, 21, 20.
Yeah,
my math is terrible, sorry.
So, the story of GET Fund has always been told in the political angle. It depends on who is trying to say what it is. So if the person has a party A color, he tells it in another way. If somebody has a party B color, they also tell it in another way. So we decided that this year we're going to engage the taxpayer, because it's the taxpayers' money that we are using. So we thought that it is better to account to the taxpayer. So we had a stakeholders meeting that was in on Tuesday. We invited those that matters, that is the vice chancellors. We invited the regional coordinating council. We invited the district assembly, the chairs, the civil society organization. And for the first part that we did about a couple of weeks ago, it was based on the funding aspect of it. This part is the infrastructure. The last part will be scholarship. Actually, when you mention GET Fund, everybody thinks about GET Fund as scholarship. But that is just 5% of our receivables. So the rest of it goes into infrastructure. Anytime that you just say that you are from GET Fund, somebody will say, scholarship. That isn't it. There's a lot that goes in there.
So now before we dive into infrastructure, I want us to talk about funding, because that was the first, the first stakeholder meeting you guys had, and we're talking about the funding source of GET Fund, because without the money, you can't get infrastructure and then later go into the scholarship. So let's talk about your funding sources of GET Fund.
Historically, GET Fund gets 2.5% of VAT. But in 2017, it was changed. In 2019, it was changed to a straight levy. A straight levy of 2.5. There's a difference between the VAT and the straight levy. There is something that happened in 2017 to GET Fund. That is the Capping and Realignment Act. That presupposes that the 2.5 that is coming to GET Fund, not all the money will come, but a percentage is taken by government. So it means that our total inflow was slashed by that percentage, and it hovers around 40% in a year. So there was a cut.
And how did that affect you?
It affected us because even the effect was hugely felt on us, because at that time, when in 2017 the mandate was given to me to come and serve, there were about arrears owed contractors to a tune of about 830 million. That aside, there were projects that were ongoing. We call it the commitments. Even with that, with the money that was coming to us, if we had even folded our arms and then said that we're going to use that money to pay contractors for them to complete the existing infrastructure, it would have taken us 6 years without doing anything, any additional thing. So that was also a second factor. And then there were, the third one was when the free SHS policy was launched, and Get Fund had to play an important role in it.
Of course.
I just sat in the office and I said, wow, what is happening to the fund? Because all these things are in there. I had a daily visit of about 70 in a day, contractors coming on daily basis. They come and then tell their story of how they are suffering. I said it yesterday. I quite remember this thing. There was a time that somebody came to my office. Just leaving the office, he collapsed.
Hey, because he was hungry or what?
No, that was the tension that he was going through, the stress. I had to take him to the whole clinic, paid for. And there are a lot of contractors that were crying. There were also legal threats at that time. And the capping, I've already told you about the capping. You needed more, but
already it's been slashed.
Slashed.
Right, so you speak about the contractors coming to your office. Obviously, if contractors are coming to your office, that means infrastructure is not being completed. But before I get to the infrastructure parts, my last question on the funding sources. Earlier this year, Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Peter Nochakoto, said that the government had not provided any money to the GETS Fund since July 2021. Any updates on that? What has anything changed?
There is releases from finance, but it's not what we expected. Presently, I think the last check that we did up to July, that was the release that they gave out to July. They were owing Get Fund about 700 million Ghana cedis in arrears.
When was this?
That was the July 2022. 2022, yeah. That's
700 million?
Yeah, over 700.
Okay. All right. So what's the story with that? We're still waiting or what?
It's supposed to come, but you know the challenges that lies ahead.
Okay. All right, now let's get into the infrastructure. Let's talk about some of the activities that you have done, some of the stuff that you have done in terms of infrastructure.
In terms of infrastructure, we did, when I resumed the position, data was very hard to get, even getting the numbers that we had on the ground. So we did an infrastructure audit around that time, and then we found out that we had about close to about 7,000, the figure is there, 7,000 projects that Get Fund since its inception has been able to initiate. And actually,
sorry, is it initiate and complete or just initiate?
No, just initiated. Some they were at various stages. Some completed. Some at various levels. But we had to know our the base, what actually Get Fund has done and
so far.
Actually, that helped us in even our ability to even spend our money and then program whatever we're doing. For now, an extra 2,000 and so has been added to it. So we have the infrastructure audit gave us 7,195. But we've added some to it, and we are in the region of 9,404. Six
plus,
projects. These are the breakdown. gives us about 5,332 for basic school, 3,396 for secondary, 101 for the E-blocks. We just want to separate the E-blocks because of its the brouhaha about the E-blocks. And then we've also commenced a new 9 model schools.
Yeah,
9 model schools, of which 7 was built from scratch, and then 2 of them an upgrade.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the E-blocks. You said by the end of 2022, you would have completed 20 E-blocks. We are pretty much at the end of 2022. How far with that?
Yeah, the problem with the E-blocks, yesterday and today, we've paid all the contractors on the E-blocks. We are not owing any contractor on the E-blocks. But the problem is that it is not economically viable for them now, for them to go and then continue.
Okay. Because
it's a business that they are doing. And in terms of the business angle with price escalation and all those factors, after paying them, they are not going back.
Okay.
So what we have to do was for us to revise the rates, and then when approval is given, then they go back to site. Once they see that it is economically viable, then they can go back to, which we've done, and then we'll send it to the ministry. It is undergoing the procurement processes, and we hope to. It's most 21 of them are above 70%. So one is it gets quick start. In a matter of maximum 2 months, they should be able to finish.
Okay, so what's the deal? You're waiting to get some more funds so that you can pay the contractors, or what exactly?
We have funds for that. We've programmed it.
Because you're saying that, okay, so you paid them, right? Let's say you paid them 100 CDs, yeah? And then they're saying that it's not economic viable for them right now. In the next 2 months, okay, so and then you presented some sort of a budget so that it can be easier for them, right? In the next 2 months, 3 months, you said that maybe you give them 100 CDs, and then you said that 150 now is the plan, yeah. But in the next 3 months, maybe 300 CDs might be needed.
Yeah. Let me. We always give a budget with
some sort of allowance. Okay.
That's what we do. And in their type of contract, it is fluctuation-based contract. Fluctuation is an index that compensates the contractor if prices goes up to a certain extent. But there are in cases that when you use the fluctuation, it doesn't commensurate the increase. That is where you have to use the rate revision. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So now let's talk about wine infrastructure audit reports on your projects, and what were some of the findings?
For the infrastructure, the data for one that I've said, and then 2, there were some of the projects that we saw that they didn't exist.
Okay.
Yeah. So for them, the reason for...
When you say didn't exist, you mean they are not there, like...
In the Get Fund books, it is stated that the project, the award letter has been given to.
Okay.
But you go to the ground and there's nothing there. There was a reason for that.
Tell me.
Yeah. It's possible that let me give you just one reason. It's possible that the award letter was done at Get Fund, but the awarding body, that is the awarding body, so the letter that should initiate the process was given to the awarding body, but it never materialized. So that is one thing.
Yeah.
At Get Fund, we just waited to see if any of them will suffice in the form of claim. But all of them, nothing came. So for that, there isn't any worry about.
Yeah.
But one thing that came in is you can see that there were some infrastructure defects.
Yeah, I saw that.
A lot of them, about 300 100 and plus.
Yeah.
For them, there were some of them that needed complete demolition.
Okay.
Some of them, they were asked to go back and then fix them.
So what was the problem? Like, we build these schools and then we leave them to rot, and then we spend money. It's not like we build them, like, you know, for one city. We spend money, and then after that, we have to demolish them and pump in some more money. So what is the problem?
No, there are some of them. It is the, let me explain this to you. Get fund, we don't give contract. We just do the funding aspect of it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll come to that, but what we've put into place in order to make that shortfall, we try and then polish those ends up.
Yeah.
But we don't give contracts. So what happens is an entity does it on our behalf.
Okay.
That is the Ministry of Education, the Regional Coordinating Council, the district assemblies, and then at the tertiary level, it is the various institutions that does it through Ghana Technical Education Commission. So they are the ones that are supposed to monitor. And then they do so through consultancy. So the consultants are our agent on site.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
They are our agent on site.
Yeah.
It so happens that some of the consultants, they don't do what is necessary for them to do.
But as people who are funding and pumping money into this, are you not worried about this?
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. What used to be in the past, and we put measures. There are a lot of complaints that I can put across that I came to meet. But I quite remember the first time that we met the president. He said that we've been appointed to your agencies and your various places to go and then fix the problem in there. I can talk about the problems that were existing, and I can tell you what we've put into place.
Yeah.
So for that, it was the monitoring aspect that was missing.
Sure.
Hitherto, me coming to Get Fund, there was a project department packed with QS, quantity surveyors. They were just going through the vetting process. So they make sure that the quantities that we've put in, it comes out clean. They do the auditing and everything before we pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does not solve the problem that we asked. So we had to expand that in trying to incorporate it, and then brought it, renamed it as the project monitoring and evaluation. So that was the missing link.
Okay.
So we brought in apart from the quantity surveyors, civil engineers, architects, those who've done project management. So that was it. So and then to cure that, Get Fund was only situated in Accra alone. Now we have zonal offices in Accra that looks at the southern zone. We have one in Kumasi that looks at the middle belt zone. And then we have one in Tamale. This concept came in from something that I saw, who watches the watchman. So now, those that are in the process, Get Fund can go and then monitor them. And I tell you, when we quick start this, the quality of the projects that we're getting
are amazing.
Yes.
Are super.
Yes.
And that's all thanks to you.
No, to my management and my board.
All right. So still on infrastructure, let's talk about the challenges. I mean, apart from the fact that some had infrastructure had to be demolished and other stuff, let's talk about some of the challenges you faced.
For the challenges, we have to understand what was existing in order for us to know how we're tackling it. So let me begin with the Ministry of Education, which is also those that award on behalf of Get Fund. At that point in time, there wasn't cooperation between the ministry and Get Fund. So what happens is you can go to a school, and then you'll find out that Get Fund is building a girls' dormitory block, At that same school, the ministry is building a dormitory block for the girls.
Okay.
It so happens that the request came from some to get fund, some to the ministry. And then they awarded it. So there wasn't that coordination. So what happens is there are more that were done. The prices were not even the same.
Yeah.
Those built by Get Fund were different by those built by the ministry. And it so happened. And this continued for a very long time. And then it brought about multiple projects that were going at the blind side of the funding agency.
I see.
A lot of you go, you just take your camera, this building has not been completed, it's a Get Fund project. We give the funding, but they do what? They do it.
The awarding and the
that is it for the Ministry of Education's point of view.
Sure.
Then you come to the district assembly. They also do whatever they have to do in there, give award more above the budget. So there were a lot of them scattered in there without the recourse to the funding body. The regional coordinating councils do the same thing. But with the tertiary sector, that is where my interest is, because they have the huge infrastructure. It so happens that GTEC, that's the institution, Ghana Tertiary Education Committee, they regulate and then do the disbursement or have on allocation on behalf of Get Fund. Initially, let me give this example. For instance, Legon, 5 million is given to Legon. In that year, Legon decide that they are going to build a lecture theater. The following year, 5 million is given to them. Instead of them using the 5 million to complete or push it into the lecture theater, they try that, oh, I'm going to build another one. Procurement, there's nothing wrong because it can tell us where the funding source is coming from. So what happened was multiplicity of projects in the tertiary phase. So you go to a school like Legon, you see that they have about 5 or 6 Get Fund projects going on. Remember that it is the same allocation that goes there, and then they divide it. One problem with that is that even if the contractor has the capacity to complete, because it is an allocation that has been given to the contractor, he can go up to a certain amount. Maybe if they split it 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, it means that the year the contractor can do only 1 million.
Okay.
Do you get it? So it happens that when projects are delayed and then it goes into multiple years, fluctuation sets in because that compensates the contractor. And then when it gets to a certain time, you see that the BOQs are not the current one, so they have to revise the rate. They revise it, they don't tell Get Fund, it goes for CTRC, it is approved, and then they bring the certificate to Get Fund. So it looks like this systematic milking of Get Fund has affected the fund in subsequent years. So when I came into the, all that I did for the tertiary sector was to put a hold to all new contracts at the tertiary sector. That manage it for a while, so that the money that we give you, use it for the existing infrastructure.
Finish that first.
Finish that up. You see that it has a financial implication. I give you 5 million, and then you go and they raise it. I'm telling you, there is a university in Ghana, I don't want to mention it. They have a project of 90 million Ghana cedis. Their allocation, as I check, in 2018 was 1 million.
I see.
So how many years? If everything remains the same, how many years do you think that project will be completed?
I see.
You see, me and you, our children,
and our children's children,
that is it. But when they go, they will not say that university is building and it's being installed. But the story, the narration will be, Get Fund has, that is it.
Get Fund
everywhere that you go, it is Get Fund infrastructure that they say. That is the story.
So, and that is why you're here to tell your side of the story.
Yes.
Yeah, that you've been trying to, close the holes in the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for this particular one, we have to solve it. What I did this year was to go with the board's approval, is to go to Parliament. And then I had a plan, a 3-year plan, to complete about 80% of them. My target is 100%, but I know that the Ghanaian contractor, it will not be achievable. If I'm able to get about 80%, I think that will be a success story for me. And in this, we are not going to give the universities allocation for those contracts, the legacy contract. For new contracts, we might do that. But even with that, there are a set of rules that we have to go through in order to assess the new ones that we're going to give. So for the legacy projects that we took, what we are saying is that there is a pool of money that has been set aside for you, the contractor, to go on site and work to your capacity. If you're able to work to your capacity and then you bring the certificate, we pay, and then you go back. So it will not be that allocation that restricts contractors' ability to do what they can do.
But so would it not be like, so a contractor does to the best of their ability, and then they come back to you, will they not like be, I don't know, will you not get out of your budget?
No.
Okay.
It is a pool. Okay. So when it gets finished, then the following year, we set up another one.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to Parliament.
Okay.
But we have a 3-year plan.
Okay.
So we know this year, for instance, 630 million out of our. Instead of us using that allocation to do new contracts, my idea is it is a constitutional mandate for us to continue ongoing projects. But it has happened that any government that comes in try to do a flagship project and then forget about the old ones. We are saying that, fine, there are some of the flagship projects that we can do, but a chunk of it should be used to complete the projects that has been left in the bush. Yeah, that is it. So that is the plan. And with the 3-year plan, the first approval has been given. Okay. Next year, if I go to Parliament and that amount that I put forward is given, I hope that in 3 years, a lot of these projects will be completed. So
your 3-year plan has been met with, some happy faces?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. All the I went to Parliament and then there was a unanimous support for that. They congratulated me for us putting in this initiative. Yeah, that is it.
Well, we hope that 3-year plan doesn't just stay as a plan. It is executed.
Yes.
And executed well. But let's talk about the 3.42 billion Ghana cedis that you raised from your loans and bonds.
Yeah, that is one thing too, that there's a misconception and then people say it the way that they like it.
Okay.
Of late, you hear a lot of the politicians and they've made to believe that is the fact. That Get Fund has gone onto the market and then received $1.5 billion. And that $1.5 billion, has been spent by Get Fund.
Where is it?
It is not 1.5 billion. Approval was given to for Get Fund to go onto the market and borrow 1.5 billion in 3 tranches. $1.5 billion in 3 tranches.
Okay.
At the time that we went to the market, it started as a loan facility, but it was very difficult for us to get it. So we had to switch it onto a bond market. And for the bond market, Security and Exchange Commission approved 5.5 billion Ghana cedis. At that time, the dollar was 5.5. So that is about $1 billion. But the actual fact is we are borrowing cedis, not dollars. And it is not being borrowed outside the country. You can hear people say that they've Get Fund has been mortgaged for $1.5 billion and it was a Chinese government or Chinese company or Chinese something that gave us everything is being sourced in Ghana.
Yeah.
Let me give you form, because there has been argument about this securitization.
Sure.
They are saying that there wasn't the need for us to go and then borrow. One, I told you that the contractors, about 830 million were there. We have to pay them.
Yes.
So that is one, the debt that we had to pay. Two, there were the legal aspect. The debt fund was, as a result of that, there was a legal risk that we had to face. And there were a lot of contractors trying to take us to court.
To court, yeah.
The third one is, and that is my favorite thing that I chanced on, a research that was done by the Building and Road Research Institute of Ghana.
And what are they saying?
And they say that in Ghana, in order to complete projects, you spend an extra 40% to complete the project. In that same research, it said that for the public sector, it is even worse. But let's try and then do our argument based on the 40%.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did was to go to my board and then get that approval. There, we took it to cabinet approved.
Yeah.
And then we came to parliament. With that, I quite remember that argument with that, if we're able to go and then borrow at even around 20%, and then we complete the projects within the time frame that we want to complete, we'll be making a savings of about 20%. Do you get the math?
Yeah.
Okay. So this 20% that we're getting, that will be our savings. Apart from us paying the contractors for them to go back to site and then finish the projects that we are doing, the free SHS infrastructure deficit, because that was the fourth point. There was a high gap in the infrastructure gap for the secondary school, the free SHS. So if journalists and then the cameraman will rightly tell the truth, when they reopened school, they went there and then they saw that when the free SHS, the following year when they started, they found out that most of them, they had somewhere to stay. That story didn't come that, oh, this year the students are that. We're working underground. So we did that, and for the first time in Ghana, for every 100 building that we built, the 20% came as free. So it was a free goodie to get fund, and for the government, that's the savings, 20% going free. That is it. And then there was also cost rationalization, where the projects that we did from 2017 were cheaper in terms of cost than projects that were awarded before 2017. So these are the pluses that we can say that we instituted around that time. Another magic that also worked was to make sure that contractors are paid timely. And my sister, I'm telling you, during that period, from 2017 up to December 2019, I'm telling you, something happened in Ghana that has never happened before.
Tell me.
Contractors they bring their claims to get fund. In a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, they get their money and then they go back.
I see.
It happened for almost 2 years, and contractors will tell you, for almost that
period,
they get it and then they go. And then they go and continue.
So that was 2017 to 2019?
Yes.
Yeah. So from 2020?
Yeah, 20, I'm coming. We paid contractors their arrears. And even fast forward, paid all contractors to 2019 for the legacy projects. I see. We paid everything. So as I'm speaking right now, there's no contractor that we owe from 2013 up to 2019 November. Okay. We paid all their the money that we owe them. Yeah. We paid. So we did pay the 830, and then fast forward up to 2019. It was after the COVID that things started getting hard. I see. But even with that, we haven't stopped. There is a funding mix that we're using. And for that funding mix, I'm telling you that now, as of today, the contractors have gone to sign novation agreement. When they do the novation agreement by the SPV that we set up from the bond, when they do that, in a matter of 2 weeks, they get paid.
Okay.
Yeah, they get paid. They know. That.
Okay.
And the payment started this week.
Okay.
And all the projects that we've awarded, we've paid as at 30th September.
Yeah.
30th September.
Yeah.
Every IPC that came to get fund at our accounts office, all basic schools captured, all secondary schools captured. And all tertiary from the arrears up to September. We've also done that. What is left is the basic and then the secondary that is in the legacy projects. Yeah. Those are the ones that are left not paid.
All right, Doc, this is your story and you told it well.
Yeah.
So when is the last stakeholders meeting?
We're planning in December
to do
the scholarship aspect of it.
Okay.
But one thing before I leave, for us to know the project since 2017, about 2,259 projects have been completed because of the funding mix that we implemented.
Okay.
And so far, I said about 9,440 something plus has been done. Apart from the infrastructure, that's the physical infrastructure, the 9 model, the one that you see at the back screen, is a school at Pasingbe. We have 7 of the Pasingbe in the north, the northeast.
Okay.
We have this model school, STEM school. We have 7 of this. It's built from scratch.
I see.
Yes, this is from Get Fund, funded by Get Fund.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So you said you have 7 of this.
7 of that.
In the north.
Yes, but this is the one. I think 2 of them are at this stage, but the other 5 are at various stages. But all of them are above 70%.
Okay,
yeah.
so when can we look forward to them like being fully operational?
This academic year.
Okay.
Some of them, I think the Abomusu one, I think it will be operational. But for this 2, this academic year, it will be. Okay. Apart from this, if quickly I can do that. If you go through the districts, you see that we've given all the districts pickups.
Pickups, yeah.
Yeah, there was a distribution of pickups to the district directors, the circuit officers we gave them motorbikes for them to do their work. We can also talk about the buses.
Yeah.
You see Get Fund branded buses donated by Get Fund. And there's a lot of them. And then furniture too, we're spreading it all over.
Okay. So, Dr. Richard Ampofo-Boadu, you're doing a fantastic job. We look forward to seeing more completed infrastructure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Dr. Richard Ampofo-Boadu is the Get Fund Administrator. You're still tuned into the AM show. But let me tell you about water. Water is life. It regulates your body temperature and keeps you alive and kicking. Awake is premium purified water treated through a strict purification process to ensure that every bottle on the market refreshes you better. We have the perfect sizes for all occasions. 330 ml, 500 ml bottles to fit your pockets and bags, and 750 ml for the heavy drinkers, and 1.5 liters for those who always want more. Now, we've also introduced our special 19-liter jar for offices and homes. Now, you just need to stay awake with Awake Purified Drinking Water wherever you go. Come on, grab a bottle of Awake Water and get quality hydration. Awake Purified Drinking Water, one for life. Remember, for every bottle you purchase, an amount is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center and is produced by Casapreco. For bulk purchase, you can please call 026 235 1251. The number is 026 235 1251. This advert is FDA approved. After this break, we host Electroland. You don't want to miss it.